Whatever I do. Okay, so this is so this video that we're about to watch, and I'm not joking, this video is Kevin Sorbo being butt mad that nobody in Hollywood will hire him. It's not a joke. He says it's because he's a conservative. I say John Voight still gets gigs. So here is Kevin Sorbo being really fragile. Let's see.
It makes me really sad that we've gotten so angry and so divided.
You're that on Twitter. Kevin Sorbo on Twitter is the worst. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This motherfucker is the most butthurt, fragile piece of shit. Look at this fucking guy. Raise your hand if you're more concerned about losing your constitutional rights than you are about COVID. What the fuck kind of... You're a whiny little bitch baby. What do you even mean? You don't get to fucking... Ooh, we're so divided. You do this. At this point, I trust Joe Rogan over Bill Gates. God, that's a fucking rock in a hard place, isn't it? Do you think Kevin Sorbo would have been okay with the communist Hollywood blacklist? Of course. 10 years ago today, Osama bin Laden was killed by a team of U.S. Navy SEALs. Never forget that Joe Biden advised against taking him down. What a weird thing. What a weird... A Catholic president would oppose abortion, not promote it. Honestly, I was expecting Nancy Pelosi to rip the speech up out of habit. I don't know what he's talking about, but... Oh, what? What just happened there? Do you guys see that? Browser error. Okay. Well, that was weird. A browser error occurred. The whole browser. The whole thing. There we go. We're back. So banning abortion won't work because people will still get them illegally in unsafe conditions, but we should still ban guns. Who... Wait. Again, who is he arguing with? Gray Terra, thanks so much for the prime, dude. Appreciate you. Who is he? Who? Do we want to ban all guns, bro? I think we want to regulate guns the same way we would regulate abortions. Like, what? Can't stop sneezing? Well, simply cut your nose off. Anyway, here's this video that we're watching right now. Chicago PD to change all sirens to national anthem, forcing suspects to take a knee and stop running. You know what's really fucking sad, dude? Kevin Sorbo being described as Hercules actor Kevin Sorbo. That's like introducing me as McDonald's manager Jake. Pretty sad, bro. Anyway.
But why can't we have a civil talk about our disagreements? And you can't do that today, especially in Hollywood.
Oh, we can't have a civil disagreement about we can't have a civil conversation about our disagreements. Well, don't you think, sorry, 1 second. Need that. Okay. Don't you think, K-Sorbs? Let me just get you a little sorb action. Okay. Copy. Hey, K-Sorbs. You said in this video that we can't have reasonable discussions about our disagreements anymore. Well, boy, do I have a proposition for you. Or OU, but mostly you. Open invite to my show where you can talk about all your disagreements with the left that you'd like, and I'd happily have that talk. Uh-oh. Let's try this. Let's get rid of this. This is how we decide stuff. How about this? This is me inviting you cordially. How about cordially? Do we have space for that? Cordially inviting you to my show, where you can talk about all your disagreements with the left that you'd like. I'd happily have that talk. Boop. Let's do it. Let's do it. Anyway.
My name is Kevin Sorbo, and this is my story.
All right, Kev.
So you might know me from Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. I got to brag a little bit. That was the most watched show in the world, 7 years.
Wowzers.
So where it began for me, I grew up in a little town called Mound, Minnesota. And 11 years old, we took a field trip into the Guthrie Theater, a very famous theater in Minneapolis. And so we went to see Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. Now, number one, I was 11, right?
Kevin Bacon, better actor than Kevin Sorbo. Thank you for the year.
Shakespeare, I don't know what the heck they were saying on stage, but I was mesmerized by the actors. I was mesmerized by people being mesmerized. I was looking around on the way home. My mom said, "What do you think?" And I said, "You know something, Mom?
We need 17 cameras to capture Kevin Sorbo's How Did You Want to Do an Act memory. 7 of them.
I'm going to be an actor." And I got that nice little pat on the leg, and my mom said, "That's nice, dear." And it wasn't until I got to college. And I had a double major in marketing and advertising, but I had a minor in drama because I knew what I really wanted to do. I got to say there were some sidetracks in my...
How does he not like, that's so sad. Okay. So this man, capitalist, right-wing conservative, this man just said out loud, without any introspection whatsoever, that he went to college and he got a major in marketing and business and shit. And why did he get that? Because he knew that there would be jobs in a market for him. But what was his real passion? It was drama. How do you not look at that and go, what about the system is fucked up that makes me want to use my actual dream as a backup plan? Like, how do you not just look at that and go, I thought they said I could be whatever I wanted to be. But I was forced, because of survival under capitalism, to make that a mere contingency. And it happened to work out. I'm very grateful. But really, this is a situation where it was I was very fortunate. I couldn't just pursue it. It wasn't guaranteed that I would have any success in any format, but like the fact that I couldn't just full on pursue it in college because I knew of the financial ramifications is ridiculous.
My life before I made the big move to Los Angeles. And it's always about a girl, right? So I met a girl my last year of college.
Vanon, thanks for the prime, dude.
And she was a big-time model, and she had already been traveling the world, and she was only 19, I was 22. She goes, "Come and spend one summer in Italy with me. Come on, we'll go to Milan." I said, "Okay." So I go to Milan. She had an agent. I didn't. I was just like, I'm gonna spend 3 months, have a fun time in summer. I'm walking on the street. Who's walking at me but with his bodyguards was Johnny Versace. And he sees me and he goes, "Who are you? Where are you from?" And I said, "Well, I'm from Minnesota." "Are you a model?" I said, "Not really, I'm an actor." She goes, "No, you must be in my shows. I love you. You're tall, you're big." And that got me going. And so I spent 8 months modeling in Milan. I went to Paris then for 6 months, and I went to Munich for a year and a half, then I went to Zurich for 3 months, and London 3 months. So I spent 3.5 years in Europe. What was supposed to be 3 months.
How do you do that and not come away with a more well-rounded worldview? I mean, I was in small town Minnesota, and on my travels around the world, I learned that fuck the pores. Like, what? How did you come up with fuck the pores out of your worldly travels? I don't understand this. I don't understand. I need to talk to him about it.
You know, it was interesting to see people's view of America, because everywhere I went, there was an interest in America. There was, I want to go there. What's it like? You know, because they get all our movies, they got all our television shows. I mean, I'm living in all those countries over there, and
it's because we export culture. Often black culture reappropriated by white people, and then they sell it. But I mean, I digress. We sell culture. That's like one of our chief exports, and that's not a joke. We literally do all the time. It's like entertainment is like huge here. It's one of our main exports, financially speaking.
It's 90% of it is American stuff. I remember, I'm going to jump forward here to when I got Hercules, because I shot that in New Zealand. But this was common in places even in Europe, but this cracks me up the most. The first year of filming Hercules, no one obviously knew about the series at that time. And I would go and work out at this gym that I joined there, and this one guy walks up to me and he goes, "Oh, you're that Yank. You're that Yank shooting Hercules, eh?" And I went, "Well, yeah, I'm an actor. I'm filming the television series Hercules." He goes, "America, I've been to America, hated it." And I looked at him, and I don't know why I thought of this, but I'm kind of a smart ass to begin with. And I said, "Well, then don't go back. We have enough assholes there already." And I walked away from him.
You're one of them, though. But you're that. You're the assholes we have. But you're the asshole, Kevin.
And I kept thinking a dumbbell's gonna be in the back of the head or something. But you would run into people like that no matter what country you go to. For the most part, people liked America. I think to travel the way I did was huge to make me grow up.
What do you mean make you grow up? What are you talking about?
It matured me, there's no question about it. Moving to LA, I wasn't as intimidated as I know I would have been at the age of 22. I know that was huge for me to do that. I came out with a very positive attitude that I'm gonna make it. And I knew it wasn't easy. I mean, they call it the city of angels, right? It's really a city of broken dreams. A buddy guy gave me great advice. He said, "Sorbs, remember, it's called show business, not show. Treat it like a business." And that's what I did. I treated it like a business. I was relentless with my agents. If I found out about an audition for something, I'd go to my agent, call him up. "Kevin, I got 100 clients." I said, "I don't give a crap about your clients. Do you think they care about me?" My mantra was, get me in the door. Let me have the chance to be rejected.
I have a lot of thoughts. Number one, yet again, a symptom of capitalism needing to, claw over other people that are literally your peers that you ought to have some form of solidarity with, but it forces us to be adversarial for the sake of survival and capital. He was bad to his agent. Surprise. Yeah, I know, right? Like that. I don't. Like, is this a virtue to him? Like, is it a virtue to be like, and I don't care about this part. Like, get me in the door. Let me have a chance to be rejected. I'm fine with this kind of like mentality of just like, I just want to try. I believe in my talents, and if they reject me, they reject me. I'm fine with that shit. I don't care about that part. It's the mentality of every other human person is an obstacle. And that pretty much encapsulates the worldview of someone like this, right? Men compete. This is observed. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely into competition. I like competition. I like sports. It's like the number one thing I like is sports, probably. Basketball, baseball, football, hockey. Hell yeah, dude. But Jay Fiegel, it's interesting that you say something like that Right, because so again, you're being insecure right now, which is interesting because you already know that I'm going to disagree with you, and so you're already typing a bunch. And now you're going to say I'm not insecure, but that's okay. You're being insecure, and that's okay. Okay, so I want you to listen and not just wait for your turn to type. Okay, J Feig, ready? Are you ready? I'm assuming you're going to reply, but just don't do it. Okay, so men compete. Okay, do you know why men compete is part of the problem? Right? It's that you associate your masculinity with the idea of a negative interaction with another man, right? You assume that there has to be one of us has to be dominant. And in the case of me and you, I'm dominant, right? Obviously. I mean, like, you're clearly emasculated. And I say that as a joke. And also, but also I know that it fucking bothers you a little bit. Because you're like, no, I'm fucking not. Nuh-uh. And, like, there's jokes in chat and stuff. And like, yeah, sure. But I was being toxic to you just now, right? Like, do you not think that the idea that you and I can have that kind of back and forth, and part of our manhood is pitting... See, exactly, Jay Fiegel. You can't even wait. You literally can't even wait for me to say the words, right? You and I are pitted together automatically because of our masculinity. For what reason? Competitors learn to lose, get better, and come back stronger next time. But why? Do you need to be a competitor? Now, I like competition. Like I said, I love sports. I grew up an athlete. I'm a very big proponent for sports, and I think it is important for people to learn how to lose. Absolutely, I think it's important for people to learn how to lose. But we can do that in a positive way, not in a negative way. We could do that in a way that teaches people to do stuff. You've seen those viral videos going around. It's usually the one that went really viral that I can think of. It was this. I think he was a Taekwondo instructor or something. He's a black guy, and he's got a bunch of students, and the student that he was focusing on was also a black kid, which is prescient in our time and space. Although I'm sure Jay Fiegel, you would think that it's not a big deal. Whatever. You're just parroting mediocre white QB post-game conference after a loss. Pretty much. You should compete for fun. You shouldn't compete to fucking live. Exactly. This is the point. The competition should be something we opt into for fun. Competition is something that we should opt into for recreation, for the sport of it. Friendly competition is super important. They teach sportsmanship on purpose, dude. Why doesn't sportsmanship cross over, like the concept of sportsmanship, the idea that if I win and you lose, or you win and I lose, we are gracious to one another and we respect each other's effort nonetheless, right? Unless one of us was shitty in the process. But the idea of being a competitor, and of course, Jay Fiegel, you, an alpha, much like myself, played sports, right? Of course, you fucking didn't, beta. But that's okay, because when I called you a beta, that was an example of toxic masculinity, right? This is the same exact thing that's wrong with Kevin Sorbo and and just where that manifests from. I mean, it also manifests from fucking capitalism, dude. The idea that we need to be pitted against each other, our peers and neighbors, for survival, for money, for jobs, is not okay. Now, that doesn't mean that there couldn't be a positive version of us being pitted against each other for jobs and stuff, but not with survival on the line. Not with survival on the line. If you separate the need for capital to satisfy survival, meaning if you make it so that you don't need money to exist in this world, meaning that the government or, just us as people, X-T, thanks so much for the tier 3, dude. Appreciate that. You got a new emote, by the way, X-T. Check out your tier 2 emotes. You got a blue cob. It's cute. We can have healthy competition in society. I could be vying for a job as literally name anything, a managerial position of something, and you could be vying for the same job managerially. Our survival isn't on the line, but we think that job is better, and possibly, if our survival is on the line, I'm sure that a harder job comes with more money in general anyway, right? But it's not going to hurt my survival. It will just mean I can't take that specific job and do more. And if we eliminate the need for survival from capitalism. It makes the competition that we face each other in the market healthy as opposed to unhealthy. Chrissia, thanks for the tier 2 for 6 months, dude. There's no reason at all to say that, just hand wave it and go, men are competitive, men compete. Why do we compete? Why do we compete? What's the answer to that question? Do you know why we compete? Guy who wants to type a bunch? Now's your time. Why do men compete? Why do you feel as though manhood is tied to competition? Do you think a man can be a man without being competitive? Of course the answer is yes. Why do you tie it's fabricated scarcity? Absolutely. Because they're made of wood? I have no fucking clue, man. Why do we compete? The actual question is much deeper than men are just competitive. No. Men aren't just competitive. The society that men grow up in tells us we ought to be. Now, why do they say that? Because we live in capitalism, and we need to be competitive to survive. It's not different from saying, don't eat that berry, it's poison. It's just more complicated and societal and constructed rather than a natural hazard. It's not different, though. It's a learned behavior that we do to survive. It is a survival instinct. And, I'm sure that part of it was evolved, of course, as we had to compete for food and stuff, but we're well past that shit. We are well past hunting mammoths and foraging for food and shit like that. Lord of the Flies, fiction, but not fiction. But Lord of the Flies is specifically a book that is against those things. Lord of the Flies is a cautionary tale saying that this is bad behavior. You advocated for it moments ago. Like, your best example of why we do it is Lord of the Flies, but it's a bad thing. That's a book that says this is bad. It's like pointing to like, I don't know, should we clone sheep, and going like, I don't know, I saw the movie Jurassic Park and that seemed to turn out well. Like, what are you talking about? What? What? Jesus fucking Christ. All right. I don't think you're on my level, bro. Anyway, everybody else got something out of that, and that's what it was for, not for you.
Just get me in the door. I was hungry for it, and I wanted to make sure I kept working. And since those years, I've shot over 60 movies, and I've been very fortunate to have a nice long career, and I hope it continues. The difference today, I think, is back then to compare to now. I think you've got to play even more of a game now. You got to be ready to, I think, bite your lip more than ever in the climate that's going on in America today, the climate that's going on in the world, because you've got this whole woke thing and this cancel culture where people come after you and it can tear you down for something you said 30 years ago, which is insane to me.
Yeah, Sure, it could be shit you said 30 years ago. It would depend on the 30 years ago thing. But, like, let's be real. When people get canceled, it's like 90% people that said a shitty thing, like, this week. You know what I mean? I was just about to say this, Chopamon. If you said a shitty thing 30 years ago, and then you haven't changed the behavior at all, and you don't, like, say, like, oh, yeah, I was fucked up, I shouldn't have said that, but I've learned a lot since 30 years ago, and I think that's fucked up. Like, do not say this. It's a bad thing to say. Like, unless you are, like, acknowledging the shitty things. Like, I've been on the internet for years. You could find shit I said back in the day that I would disagree with now. That's the nature of growth, and that's fine. You cannot cancel me for I admit to my wrongdoings. That's all you have to do. Go, oh, hey, unless you do something like fucking terribly egregious, like, hurt somebody or whatever. But like, if you just go like, oh, I said something edgy in 2014. Simply look at the thing and go, oh yeah, I was shitty. I shouldn't have said that. Or I wouldn't say that now. At the time, here's the context for that. It's not an excuse, it's an explanation. And then just sort of understand it. Like for instance, let's talk about a different T slur, one that I can say. Content warning. I'm gonna say what is now a transphobic slur. Well, it's kind of always been that, but I was ignorant to it. The word trap, right? I didn't know that meant a trans person. Like, I didn't know that it meant, like, trans panic moments. Okay? Do you want to know what I thought that word meant? And maybe it did, but it changed at one point. Or, the whole "our traps gay" shit. Like, and I always thought, like, well, I don't, who gives a shit? Well, so in, like, 2013 or whenever that fucking came out, so I thought, wait a second. So I thought it was this lady. I thought this was an example of that. Do you know who she is? Anybody know who she is? Pretty hot. This is a cis man. No, it's not Belle Delphine. This is a cis man. This is Sneaky. He's a streamer. He's cis. And he's very good at cosplay. So I thought that word meant a cis man dressing in cosplay, and then like, oops, actually you're attracted to a dude. I didn't know it meant trans people at all. I thought it was specifically this kind of instance. And so I was just ignorant, right? And then I learned that it wasn't only used in this situation. It might have been used in this situation, but I learned that it wasn't, and then it hurt other people in a different way. And then once I learned that, I was like, oh, this isn't drag. Drag is a very specifically different thing, okay? This is much closer to cross-dressing than it is to drag. Drag is a culture, and it has to be specifically over the top. It's got to be a different thing. But this is just cosplay. This is a cis guy doing a lady cosplay. It's not really anything. But I thought that's what that term meant, right? It's okay if you have that shit, and so I would have said something with that slur in it. But, like, that's what I thought it was. So, it's just stuff like that. And then you learn that, oh, fuck, that's a thing that you can't say. That's a thing that hurts somebody. And then you go, okay, well, I'm going to get it out of my lexicon. And then you do that. And that's all it takes. This is not cancel culture. This is not, you are getting canceled for, like, usually reasonable things. The unreasonable stuff, the left bickers over anyway, okay? If you're getting canceled for something you think is unreasonable, look and see if leftists are fighting each other to know whether you're right. Okay? If you're getting canceled, air quotes, because you sexually assaulted someone, that's not canceled. That's comeuppance. That's so funny and original. Behave. True. I remember the emergence of the term on the Chan boards around the character Bridget from Guilty Gear, and it was like 15 years later I learned about the trans panic defense. Yeah. So I thought it might have started in a place that didn't affect trans people, but then it ended up there at some point, and so yeah. Someone said Lindsay Ellis is a good example of bullshit canceling. 100%. I watched that video, by the way. If you watched Lindsay Ellis's video about her canceling, and then you still think it was fine that she was canceled, I need you to fucking either leave and never talk to me again, or stick around and learn how to be right, because you're wrong. Disappointed. Yeah. The Lindsay Ellis thing was actually like, you should watch the video. That video is legit rough to watch. Oh yeah, I watched the whole thing the other day. Whew. I just want to give Lindsay a hug, you know. Yeah, but I don't know, Jess. Thought we were gonna stream it, so I was waiting. Well, I watched it and. Maybe we could. It's just got like again, more content warning. It just she talks about her own experiences with sexual assault and the sexual assault of her friend and how they cope together about this, and there's a very rough like 30 minutes in that video, and it I don't know. It's just such a like you just can't. We could, but it would be a very heavy content warning near that portion. It is. I would be very shocked to see anyone that's gone through it be able to sit through it unless they've, come out on the other side and been able to handle that through therapy or their own shit or whatever. Like if you're still dealing with any of the fallout of SA or whatever, it would be pretty fucking hard to watch, I think. But I have not gone through that. I feel it stands on its own. I mean, we could discuss. I personally like Jake's streams where we rebut things more. I mean, sure, but also I think it's also important for the community to watch it at some point. I don't know. Specifically because I would talk about canceling and the cancel culture shit. Because I think that cancel culture is two things. Number one, it's an initial overcorrection for a thing that we should have been correcting for years and years, right? That said, once the overcorrection comes back to normal, this is a very good and positive addition to our culture. So it's just right, Cornflake Boy. I agree. It's slowing down a bit, and it's people are starting to be more selective with it. Much like anything else with social media, shit gets crazy for a bit, and then it calms down. Like I don't know. Some people go after people for dumb shit, and specifically, again, people who claim to be reformist leftist will go after people's like livelihoods and shit, and like unless it's someone who was being racist yesterday, I don't care about it. Like if you're racist in 2021, 2020, whatever, and you get caught on camera being an outright racist, I mean, sorry, dude, you knew the rules. Like we don't put up with that anymore, bro. You could do it. I mean, if you want to be racist, you can go ahead, but do it at your own peril, bro. But I mean, like that girl that we talked about this on stream. That girl that I think she said like a racial slur, but like she was like really young, and then another one of her classmates held on to it forever, and then put it on TikTok, and then she got her like college revoked or whatever. Like her admission got denied or whatever. That's fucked up, man. Like why can't someone learn from that? Like don't hold on to that kind of shit, especially stuff from kids. Like if you were an adult, you get less leniency. Like once you hit about 25, depending on what you said, you lose leniency. And then there's some stuff you can't say when you're, I'd say 16 is probably the rough cutoff for stuff that like, okay, dude, you can drive. It's time to fucking fuck off. But like Nick Fuentes, well, sure, but these are people like Nick Fuentes that just like, I mean, he's not redeemable for any time in the future, right? Not any near time. It's just one of those things where you just gotta make, like Kevin Sorbo. Fuck Kevin Sorbo, dude. Fuck Kevin Sorbo. He's a bad guy. He's a shitty guy. But if in 10 years Kevin Sorbo is a trans advocate, I'm letting him do that, right? If in 1 year he's a trans advocate, you know what I'm saying? Like if he has a turn of heart, which I don't foresee because he has monetary incentive not to do so, then yeah, James Gunn is one that comes to mind. Exactly. Yeah. There are things that we used to be culturally okay. Like for instance, my friends and I used to use the term gay. Like, oh, you're gay. Like as a funny haha, right? And then we started meeting people that were gay in real life. And we were like, maybe we won't use that as a pejorative anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it took. We were kids. You know what I mean? It was a pejorative in the 90s and 2000s. Some of our friends ended up being gay, and they were like, that's bothersome. And we're like, okay. And so we didn't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like literally just do that. How do you differentiate between actually changing and pretending to change to avoid backlash? What's the difference? If you're performatively not being a racist, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Eventually, that's just going to be your personality, right? Exactly. You need to give people a path forward. Now, again, we said this at the top of the stream, and I'll say it right now at the bottom of it. You personally do not need to interact with these people. You personally do not. But you do not get to dictate what the left does. You just don't get to. You don't get to. There are safe spaces for you if you can't deal with or don't want to deal with or don't have the bandwidth for any of that shit. Totally valid and 100% fine. But if you tell me that I can't talk to a person who's like, I voted for Trump in 2016, and I gotta say, I was really close to being a fucking Nazi. But it just doesn't feel right, and some of the things the left says make a little bit of sense to me. But I don't know, it still sounds like SJW bullshit. I could talk to that fucking guy. Or gal. Or, unlikely, NB pal. I could talk to one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we fighting for? If we don't let people actually change their mind, like, what's the argument for then? What do you think? You're just gonna fucking like, someday they'll die off? Like, what the fuck what's the point of you? What is the point of you? If your fight is against people that you have no interest in them learning things. Like, what? I was a total chud 5 years ago. Did a complete 180 after I started to learn shit. Exactly. It's not hard. Or it is hard, but it's like not hard to like be empathetic, I mean, rather. Like you did hard work there. Like that took a worldview change, right? Low tech. You may have lost some friends on both sides of that exchange. You may have gained some friends on both sides of that exchange. You may have had things that you regret. You may have had things that you wish you could redo. Like I know that a lot of us have things. A lot of ex-judge were coping LGBT people. Of course they were. Like there was a bunch of trans people that didn't want their eggs cracked, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like, yeah, no, that shit's not for me, right? That's not normal. And then like you find a loving community that's just like, you know what? Be yourself, dude. Like whatever your happiest is, you should be that. And then like you just slowly happens for people. Like just extend an olive branch if you got it. Your Jordan Peterson book read was a huge influence on me becoming a leftist. Good. I'm glad that helped. Purity testing can be pretty shitty on the left, like that poll saying should you be allowed to be a leftist from a while ago. What do you mean allowed? What's that even mean? You could say, should she be allowed in my specific space? But if she wants to come on and talk about that, I'll have her come on and talk about that. It's not like we haven't done it before. Like, I don't fucking give a shit about your purity. I care about where you are, you're headed, right? I care about what you want in your life moving forward and want for other people. Do we have to agree 100%? No, but we should probably agree on the bones, right? On the bones of it, the bones of the argument. Anyway, let's finish this 7 Sorbo shit. I'm hungry.
And these are the same people, apparently, are perfect people that never,
No, they're not. We just talked about that a bunch of times.
Without sin cast the first stone. But I didn't notice it until I got up to Canada, where I filmed my second series, Andromeda. And I started noticing more on the set there when 2 of the actors on the show found out I was conservative, and they said, "You're Republican, you're against education." And I went, "I'm against education?"
Yeah, you're against education. You definitely are against education. But he doesn't know what that means, right? Like he thinks that like that means like like, oh, he doesn't you don't like schools at all. It's like that's not what we mean. We mean you're against like public education. You're against like allowing broad access to education. Not like he wants people to pay for it, right? He doesn't want it to be a service. This is the difference. So you're against education.
I said, "What?" I said, that blew my mind. But then when I started doing more and more movies.
Okay, chat, I have a question. I've barely eaten today. I have about 300 calories in me right now. Okay? Do I want a frozen Coke or do I want a milkshake? I haven't had a milkshake in probably 3 years. Should I get a milkshake, chat? I haven't had a fucking milkshake in forever, dude. Everyone's saying milkshake. Okay, I guess I get a milkshake. I haven't fucking had one in forever, bro. Anyway, let's keep going. Wow, all of you are saying milkshake. Holy shit. Okay, dude.
Movies. That's when I started hearing people saying stuff on the set, and I would challenge
Owlboy, thanks for giving one to For Heaven's Sake.
people. I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? I mean, they love their labels.
Who's they?
You're a homophobe. You're a racist.
If you're a homophobe and a racist, you are that. Are you those things, Kevin? I would love to talk to you about this. Maybe you're not those things. You know what I would love more than anything is to talk to Kevin Sorbo, to talk to him, have a real discussion. Give me an hour. Give me 2 hours, Kev. Ask me anything about leftist beliefs, and I'll ask you anything about Republican beliefs. Give me this a little bit of time. I would love to learn that you're not a shitty person. Right? I would love to learn that. What if I was just wrong about you the whole time? That'd be fucking dope, dude. I would fuck with that a lot. I would be very excited to learn that I just had you wrong, man. You know? I think that's reasonable. But I don't think that's what's going to happen.
You're an anti-Semite. And I go, okay, tell me how I am. Where does that come from? I've been on the set of so many movies and TV shows in 30 plus years, and I've worked with so many people that are gay, lesbian, whatever. There's not one that would say I was a horrible person to work with. There's not one.
I bet there's one. I bet there's more than one. That's okay. Sarah probably wants like a Coke or something. We'll get her one. I don't like this. I have a black friend defense here. Lucy Lawless can't stand him. Is Lucy Lawless part of the LGBT community? I don't know anything about her, really. I am not a Lucy Lawless knower. You're a leftist. You're a communist. You're Antifa. What was that about labels being sorby? True.
But they love their labels, and it's so easy to throw labels at people. And like I said, now we live in a culture where it's you're guilty until proven innocent, when it used to be the other way around. I was at a charity golf event out in Palm Springs, and I said something, and one of the guys pulls me aside. He says, "Are you conservative?" I said, "Why are we talking like we're doing a drug deal over here in the corner?" You know, because he pulled me in the corner of the clubhouse we were sitting in. It's crazy how
he's persecuted, dude. He's persecuted. He's the victim. It's actually him. He was the victim the whole time.
Damage they can do to your career and how they can destroy people's lives right now.
Oh, no, dude.
In 2010, there were a couple of incidents that I just said, okay, I've had enough of this. And I remember going back to my wife and saying, I've had enough of the hypocrisy where nobody's pointing it out. And I started getting more vocal. Of course, we had all these, social media was starting to grow in its infancy, but we started to take off. And I started saying stuff. My wife said, "You better look out. They're going to come after you." And I said, all I said was 2 + 2 is 4. I spoke the truth. That's just truth.
Wow.
But she was right. And I got to a point with my agent.
What was 2 + 2 = 4? What is that thing? What is the thing he said, though? He didn't actually say 2 + 2 is 4 and all the lefties yelled at him. What was the opinion, Kev?
Who big time agent, I was with a long time, and my manager just said, we can't represent you anymore. I said, why? Well, because you're conservative and you're a Christian and I was like, what?
Conservative Christian? What do you mean, what? This is so wild, dude. That's capitalism. Again, your problem is with capitalism, Kevin. They found you not marketable. What? 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 I'm sure they literally outright said, by the way, you're a conservative Christian. We just can't have that. No. They said, looks like you said some bullshit. This isn't good for our fucking brand. We're not with you, dude.
I said, this is an industry that screams more than anybody else for tolerance. You have to be tolerant. You have to be, freedom of speech. And now all that stuff is completely a one-way street. It's like, you say what we say, or you're out. You're out of the club. Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream of culture. Who owns the culture? Hollywood does. Mainstream media does. And you see what's coming out there right now. You see the movies that come out.
What?
There's so much hate, anger, divisiveness. Walt Disney said back in the 50s, movies and television will influence the youth. And of course, look what it's doing right now. And there's such an ignorance out there. There's such a, I don't think people are stupid. I don't think young kids are stupid. I think they're just misguided, they're misled. We got an education system that is, they're telling kids that this is bad and this is good. I never had that when I was in school. I never had that. If I had a math class, they taught math. It was biology, they taught biology.
Well, yeah, it's obvious you didn't learn what was right and wrong in school. What? Clearly, here we are, Kev. Like, what? Like, I'm surprised you're not a little remiss about, like how? Like, this is your fault, dude.
Biology. When I got to college, I never had any professors tell me or get angry at me if I had a different viewpoint than them. I have no recollection of any of that stuff going on.
It's not about being angry at you for having a different fucking viewpoint. It's about you being wrong in the face of you being able to be correct. And in almost all the ways that conservatism is wrong, it's wrong at the expense of other people, right? It's not like just incorrect and it's sort of a benign incorrect. It's not like being wrong about like the color of the sky, right? It's not like when I say the sky is blue, you say it's green. That doesn't really affect fucking anything, does it? I don't care if you see green when you look up. What I care about is that you understand that there is a sky, right? Now, if I said the sky's blue and you said, what sky? Sky brain. I'd be like, what? What, Kevin? Just call me a sky brain? Yeah, don't do that. Don't, just you could be benign wrong, but like when you're wrong about stuff, you're wrong about like, do the gays deserve rights? Like, yes, they do. They're people. I don't know. Should they be able to get married to a person they love? What kind of fucking question is that? What do you mean? What? Okay.
But it's changed drastically in the last 15 years. It's just, it's accelerating on itself. And when I usually confront somebody and say, okay, let's talk about that issue.
Let's do it.
All they can do is say, you're wrong.
Let's do it, Kevin! Anytime. Let's have this discussion, Kevin. As you can see, I'm a huge fan. Kevin, check this shit out. Kevin! Oh, it's a little dusty. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Kevin! Look at this shit, bro. Who's that? It's you, dude! It's you, Kev! I haven't even opened it. Fresh in the box, dude. Look at those quads, bro. Look at those fucking quads, bro. I don't think they got your face right. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's not really, but you are on here. You are here. Anyway, you should just come talk to me, Kev. Are you fucking kidding me? Just come talk to me, Kevin. Let's have this discussion. It would be genuinely a good conversation, man. I don't know, dude. I personally think that it's you know, conservatives often do this thing. Like, you'll ask for a conversation, and then you'll be like, no one said yes, or they don't rise to my standards or something like that. Like, you'd probably find a reason not to talk to me. Oh, he's in a corn suit. Whatever, dude. I'm not here to debate, bro. Let's literally just have a conversation. Name a time and place. I will do it. I will fly out to LA for you. Or Minnesota, wherever the fuck you're at. I don't know. Or we can just do it over Discord. It's way easier. But Zoom, whatever you got going on. Seriously. Do you actually want to have a genuine conversation with someone you disagree with? I won't wear the corn suit. Or maybe I will. I guess we'll see. But like it's not like we'll just have a discussion. You can ask me any fucking questions you'd like to about leftism. I don't know why I'm saying he's never gonna say yes to this shit. You should though, Kev. You should. We could have a good time, dude. I want to talk to Kevin Sorbo, okay? I want to talk to him.
You're wrong. Or science. I go, okay, explain the science to me. It's science, and they walk away.
Well, see, okay, so you're talking to dum-dums. That's okay. Maybe you've only ever interacted with, and don't get me wrong, I have interacted with you. Maybe you've only ever interacted with dum-dums, dude. Maybe you just need a smart. I'm your man. I'm telling you, Kev, we could do this together, dude. I'm going to take you at your word and say that every time you've asked a question, you've gotten a flippant reply, and you've never gotten a genuine reply from a left-leaning person in your life. That's what I'm going to give you the best possible assumption here, okay? I promise you, I will answer every question possible that you have, dude. Not saying I know all the answers. I'm just going to give you my perspective, right? I'm telling you, it's going to be good for both of us, Kev. We could do this.
Because they don't have the answers. That's where they want to be because that's where the news people told them they should be. Or
the news people? Kevin, we don't watch the news. We don't watch CNN. This isn't... when you argue with people, you're arguing what Fox News thinks they're arguing at, but it's not who you're arguing at. You're arguing to me and other leftists, not liberals. Like, the disagreements you have are with me. Talk to me about that. I don't watch the news. I agree, it's a corporate propaganda machine. Although you probably don't think that about Fox News, but you should! But you should! As an American man who wants his independence and freedom to do whatever the fuck he wants with his own body, with his own property, with his own life. You want the government to stay out of your bullshit, and that should include their fucking propaganda, dude. It should also include, propaganda from agencies who aren't directly the state, but advocate for a particular department of the state, like Fox News. Right? I mean, you could say CNN as well, easy. Although, it's less propaganda than Fox News, but it's still got propaganda for sure. 100% true. Absolutely. I do not engage with these places. No one watches these fucking news shows.
The industry of Hollywood told them they should be. There's a weird tipping point right now between reality and just fake information. And unfortunately, people are falling into the trap of going for the stuff that's more fake than real. Here's what's interesting. I tell my liberal friends, I go, you go look. You bring up JFK. JFK was great. And I said, look at his 1960 inauguration speech.
Do liberal friends say JFK was great? JFK sucked. I mean, he was good for the time, I guess, relative to the other options. My liberal friends, true.
Is there any Democrat that talks that way today? And we have to find a way, and I think the liberals got to help lead in that way as well. And the right does as well. We got to find a way to get some sort of common ground. I still have to hope and believe that we're gonna eventually reach across and find a way to shake hands and be sincere about it.
Here I am, Kev. Let's touch hands and shake them. Okay, I'm vaxxed. I don't even have to do the bump, dude. I'll shake your hand. I don't care. I will probably crush you with my raw brawn, but that's okay. My incredible brawn. My raw strength. I'm just saying, man. Like you say a lot of things about how you want shit to go, but I don't feel like that's how you actually want it to go, my guy. I don't believe you, I guess, is what I'm saying. I just don't. I'd like to. All right. Last bit. Is that it? Is that the whole thing? Stories of us. All right. Thank you. Hold on, this is really funny. This episode was made possible by a generous donation from the producers of The Potwins, starring Kevin Sorbo. What? Are we going to have more information on here?
I hope you enjoyed my story, and I'll tell you what, let's keep PragerU going. You can make a tax-deductible donation.
Oh my fucking God, dude. You can donate to PragerU. The Potwins. The Potwins.